to us all. What about unmarried fathers? Well, fathers would claim that when it comes to the point where a couple go before the courts to argue for custody of and access to their children, that the courts favor the mother as the natural person to raise the children. That, the fathers say, is discriminatory. And here in Tella, single men have come together to set up a group to campaign for equality before the law in this regard, as they would put it, to get equal rights to play an equal part in raising their own children.
3.5 years ago, Ray Kelly was a McDonald's dad, because when he separated from his wife, the family court initially allowed him only 6.5 hours per week with his 2 children, Elizabeth and Grace.
Give us 2 of them, yeah. I had only 6.5 hours. The courts decided that I should be, that's all I deserve, 6.5 hours. And then once a month I had him for a weekend. But it was terrible, it was absolutely dreadful. I was the McDonald's daddy I was at the time. And actually 6.5 hours was ridiculous, because how could I have a good relationship and like a strong bond? Oh, there's on the wall again, for the kids as well, because they didn't know what was happening here. Like, Daddy wasn't seeing them at night, and when you have a little girl like 4 or 3 years of age saying, Daddy, can I stay with you tonight? And I'm saying, I'm sorry, you know, I can't. And then they're questioning, then does Daddy love me? Because Daddy won't have me tonight, but it wouldn't be Daddy's fault. And it was very, very difficult to explain it to a child. They've adapted to it now, and the way myself and the mother has done it, it's been very good.
Ray now has access to his girls for 16 days per month. But he has been to court 40 times to achieve this access and to obtain crucial guardianship and custody rights.
I have to defend myself to prove that I was a good father. And that is very, very difficult. Because the only one who knows that is the children.
So how did you prove to the court that you were a good father?
I went to court 40 times.
40 times?
Yeah. And I pleaded with the courts. I begged. Not just the court, everybody and anybody that I possibly knew, that I want my kids.
During his struggle to win guardianship and custody and to increase his access to his daughters, this playground was a very sad place for Ray.
And I sat on this swing with my little fairy Grace, which is my baby, and also my princess Elizabeth. And we swang here, and we pushed and enjoyed things, had parties and stuff like that. So it's a fun place as well, but it's very, very lonely when I don't have my children.
Ray's experience with the family court left him very angry and bitter. He expresses this in song.
Now the judge will tell you father's access time will give to you, but pay your wife more money for what you give her, she can't live. No, I don't give a damn if you're hungry and broke. You know your poor little wife needs a drink and a smoke. And if you're good, your kids will see every Sunday. So come on, all you fathers, fight this system loud and clear. Although the absent parent, your child loves you very dear. Remember next time in the family court, it's only a game, it's a female sport. And the winners end up rolling in the clover.
Ray Kelly's concerns with the family court led him to set up the Tala Unmarried Fathers Group to help others with similar difficulties. The group has achieved a community award, and Ray himself has twice been Tala Person of the Year in the community category.
Since our group has been set up, we've helped in the region about 4,500 men, women and children. Our main aim is to put children first. The difficulty and the hardship that I had gone through, I just feel that shouldn't be given to any other person, man, woman or child. Also, the suffering that happened to my children while this process was going on was horrific. So therefore we set up a group to basically look at these issues.
A local solicitor in Tala is the informal legal advisor to the Tala Unmarried Fathers. He argues that the legal position of men before the family court isn't good.
My name is Donald McGowan. I'm a solicitor practicing in the area of family law, in particular the issues of access and custody. And I would be concerned about the way the court system works in relation to those issues and family law in general. I think that there is a certain element of prejudice against the man. The mother is automatically a guardian of the child, and automatically she is the custodial parent of the child. That is to say that she has custody of the children. Now, the father automatically is not given automatic rights. He's not sort of access. He's not automatically given hours to when he can visit the child. Equally, he's not automatically made a guardian. And there's no reason why a father should not automatically be a guardian. And in order to get those things, in order to get access and get guardianship, the father, yes, does have to prove that he would be a good father to the child, that he will maintain the child and look after the child. That is clearly an inequality, because the mother is not asked to prove herself, and nor should she be, I think. And it's important to remember that neither parent, again, should be asked to prove themselves.
No parent should be taken away from the child. That, to me, is child abuse. And our government is making it, and it's creating child abuse. One guy was told that he couldn't have his child overnight because the child was a little girl and he was male. So he was sexually discriminated against.
Look, you're going to hit him! Turn!
With maintenance, one guy said, I would like to pay maintenance to my child, but I would like to buy the clothing and so forth. And it was directed, God almighty, how could you go and, pick clothes out for your child? This is the kind of ridiculous statements that are going on in behind these closed doors.
Yes, closed doors. The closed doors of the family court. These spring from the in-camera rule, which means proceedings are confidential and can't be published or reported. So poor decisions, or unfair or inconsistent decisions, can't be publicized or challenged in the media or in political debate. Many men believe the inequalities they endure in the family court would not survive public scrutiny or controversy. And some argue that the whole family court system needs rethinking.
The basis of the system is to pit one person against the other. Now, I think automatically there's difficulties there. Firstly, in a family law situation, you're dealing with people who have strong emotions. There's conflict between the parties, often because of, say, following a breakup, between the relations between the adults in that relationship. And to bring them into an adversarial system merely, I believe, increases the tension between the parties and the strain between the parties, and is therefore unsuitable.
This is a national problem. It has to be addressed and has to be looked at properly. I think the professionals really want to sit down and analyse this.
There doesn't seem to be any basis on which these decisions are made, and it's difficult to know the basis on which decisions are made. I think what's required is a much more imaginative approach, taking possibly completely outside the realms of the court, and having, perhaps, a system whereby the whole relationship between the parties is investigated and looked into by an independent party, and that party would then make recommendations then.
Ray Kelly feels that the legal representation available to men before the family courts isn't enough to allow men to defend themselves adequately. So with Tallaght Unmarried Fathers, he organizes courtroom mock-ups to teach fathers, and some mothers too, how the court operates, so that they can defend themselves. In this mock-up, Ray is the applicant seeking more access to his children and rights of guardianship.
Good morning, Your Honour. We're here today to discuss the application of guardianship and access for the said children. I have been with my partner for the last 5 years, and in that we had 2 children. I have 3 years relationship with the first child, and he also had 6 months. I think it's very important for the children to build a good relationship with the father. Therefore, access is vitally important, and also the guardianship will take in the whole day-to-day care of the children, educational-wise as well. I don't see any reason for the court to object to this, as I've been there all the time for the children. I have paid the maintenance, and I have never caused any problems or any difficulties. Thanks very much, Rana.
Your Honour, I don't feel my partner should be allowed access with the children, because when we were living together, he didn't show any interest at all. He's a bad drink problem. He's been abusive to myself and the children. I don't think he will have a good effect on them. Thank you.
A lot of these allegations are unfounded and untrue, and they're probably a normal, everyday living for a couple. But unfortunately, when it breaks up, the marriage breaks up, it ends up being the worst thing that you have ever done by having a pint on Sunday or something to that effect.
So small things are magnified.
Multiplied. And it made the individual, the male individual, look like a monster of some kind.
People who make allegations and they're unfounded get away scot-free. I mean, they can run down anybody by physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, and it's never they're never punished for that. They just get away scot-free.
You mean they're telling lies?
Yes, yes.
And the man gets off worse and the court believes the woman?
Well, basically, yes. 70% anyway, the case, so yes.
So in this mock-up case, the judge allows a Section 20 report to allow it to hear a third-party evaluation by a social worker of Ray's suitability as a father. Again, this demonstrates one of the main difficulties faced by men before the family court. Men have to prove that they are good enough as parents to obtain access, custody and guardianship. These are rights that women enjoy automatically. And Ray, as a mothering type of father, is a shining example of what many men can be and want to be to their children as he sings them to sleep at night.
Oh, Daddy, please don't cry. And it nearly works. And it nearly works.
Ray's exemplary love is again apparent in the special poems he has written for his children, and they clearly benefit from the access that Ray has fought so long and so hard to win for them.
Grace, she is my fairy. No one else can take her place. She's as special as the angel. That's my lover daughter, Grace.
A determined and a sincere campaign there.